Alright. Hey guys. I think this book thing I'm doing, maybe I'll just do like weekly things. See how that goes. I think it'd be easier for me to keep up with stuff. Maybe stay more consistent with it. Um, so what did I read this week? This week I read, oh, I read The Staircase in the Woods by, I think his name is Dan Windig. I'm gonna be real honest. Didn't like this book. Didn't like it. Didn't like the characters. I almost DNF'd it almost immediately. Uh, the so it's just real quick. The premise is a group of friends. This aren't spoilers, so something about it, but a group of friends are getting together. They're reuniting after X amount of years to just meet up because one friend allegedly has cancer. I don't know why I said allegedly. They met up with a friend who has cancer, and this friend wants to bring up the past. They at one point had a friend who they went and hung out with in the woods as kids, and he just disappeared. Apparently, staircase in the woods, and he went up them. Nobody came back, and there was a whole police thing, and they were like, oh. And right away, they introduced these characters. None of them are likable. None of them. And while I don't like to compare authors, I'm just going to give an example. I read Small Town Horror by Ronald Malfi when it came out. So maybe it was because I was excited to read. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I was excited to read that. I was also excited to read this, and I feel like it just, yeah. Small Town Horror, he gives you characters, he gives you relatable characters, and as you progress through it, you realize that you hate them, you don't like them, and now you're just following to see what happens to them. This book, you start out with pure, miserable, I was going to use a 4-letter C word, 5-letter C word. They're just not enjoyable. Right off the bat, there's a female character she's very woke, and well, that's your thing. You know, she's the blue-haired, like lefty, like everything I know is girl power, Mary Sue stuff. And let me make this clear to you. Anybody who's read Game of Thrones, you know that Joffrey, he's a dick. I'd put her as someone I hate more than Prince Joffrey. What's crazy is, I'm pretty sure, and then there's another kid, Owen, who's this really timid, scared of everything, lazy, unmotivated kid who's down on his luck, but he doesn't, like, let me make this clear. Maybe the reason I hate these people so much is because this was me in my 20s, or I associated with a lot of these type of people in my 20s. And since then, I've just, as I get older, I'm like, well, it's unfortunate. Better pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Go to work. But these characters are just so whiny, so insufferable right from the get-go. God, I hated this book. Let me make this. Dan Windig, I think his last name is Windig. His writing is good. It's a solid book. If there's nothing wrong with the writing, there's nothing even wrong with the story. It is the characters. Right from the get-go, I just hated everybody. Which by the way, is also a sign of a good writer is when he can when you can write characters that makes. I mean, Mr. Wendig is a good writer. Don't get me wrong. This first book I read by him, it was good. It was solid. And he wrote really good, unlikable characters. Unfortunately, I hated them so much, I hated the book. So, yeah. Yep. Moving on. After that, I tried to start the third Rune Lords book by David Farland. I just wasn't in the mood for it, so I read a chapter, just set it off. I'll get to it when I get to it. And then I was going to start Battlegrounds by Dresden because I finally read Peace Talks. And I'm like, I'm just reading too much edgy stuff. Between, Peace Talks, I read something else, I don't remember what that was. Already forgot. And then I read Staircase in the Woods and all the youngsters in that book. I was just like, let's just pump the brakes, figure out something new to read. So I have grabbed what I will be reading. I think I was also going to start the second Carl's Doomsday scenario. I was going to start reading that. I was like, nah, I already know it's going to be edgy. Let's just... So I grabbed Shaman's Crossing by Robin Hobb, because I love Robin Hobb. I love Realm of the Elderlings so much that I think I'm going to give Shaman's Crossing a try. It is a big book. It'll take me probably all month with how busy it's going to be with school starting up for the kids and them being in gymnastics and dance. So, I don't know. Has anybody else read Staircase in the Woods? I'm curious to know if anybody else felt the way I did, or if, again, he's a good writer and he wrote really convincing characters. So convincing, I just hated them and wished them the worst. Yep. Anywho, yeah, I don't know. I really need to suck it up and read Malazan. It's right there. I'm thinking about getting rid of my Brandon Sanderson books, because I think I'm done with Brandon Sanderson. After Wind and Truth, I don't care. Don't care. That's a whole topic. Maybe I'll stop this and I'll record something quick about that. But yeah, alright. Peace out. This video is probably already too long. Alright. Goodbye!